Okay, in this tutorial I want to show how to set up artwork in a grid formation within the model. So I've started with 10 photographs. The photos are 8 by 10, the frames are 11 by 14, they're all landscape. I have 10 of these, so I'm going to do a simple grid of 5 on top, 5 on the bottom. I'm going to center these on the wall from left to right, and then I'm also going to center them off 60 inches from the floor. So I'm going to put them on this wall, and to get set up I want to start using the tape measure tool. So what I'm going to do is press T on the keyboard to shortcut to the tape measure. I'm going to find the center of this wall by selecting one of the sides, scrolling across the top until I get that light blue circle for the midpoint. And I do have this inch reveal here, so I'm going to count for that and go up 59 inches, which will then put my guideline at 60 inches from the floor. Now say I want to space these, let's say we'll do horizontally, we'll do a 6-inch space, and then vertically we'll do a foot in between each piece. So from here I want to have 6 inches this way, so I want to split the difference off of the center line. So I'll go up 3 inches, half of the 6 inches, and then I'm going to come down 3 inches. And you want to make sure that you're in the right plane. Sometimes it'll take you in a different direction. The dotted line won't go onto the wall, so you want to be cautious of that. Okay, so now I have where I want the bottom of the frames in the top row to touch, and the top of the frames I have the guideline for those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and erase the 60 line, the 60-inch marker line, just to make it less confusing. Now to go left and right, I can simply click off that dotted line, and I wanted to do a foot in between, so I'm going to split the difference of that, go 6 inches to the right from center, and I'm going to go 6 inches to the left from center. And then I'm going to delete that middle line. You can leave these lines. I like to get rid of them. It's just a little more clear for me. So I'm going to have a bottom left corner frame touching here, top left frame corner touching there, and the opposite on the other side. Now I need to bring my pieces over into that space. First I want to get them in the right orientation, so I'm going to have to do some rotating. I went ahead and selected all of the frames and images. I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard, that's the shortcut for rotating, and I'm just going to go along this frame. Now it looks like it's trying to connect me to maybe that line. Just to make things simple, I'm going to go straight across the top. Now I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees so that I am now able to go to that wall, but now I have to rotate them up. So you can see how this circle rotates between red, blue, and then I can also get green. I got green by hitting the left arrow key on the keyboard. Now this will bring it up the 90 degrees. Okay, so now it's just a matter of selecting which one I want to go where. So for this I'll just start with the top left, and you want to be mindful of where you're grabbing this. So I selected the whole image with the frame. I'm going to hit the M button on the keyboard for move, and I want to be sure to grab the back corner of the frame and not the front, otherwise this whole side will go into the wall of your model. So you want this to stick out from the wall. So I'm going to grab it from the back corner. Now I can move it into place, and since I grabbed it from the back bottom right corner, I'm just going to place it on that intersection there. So that's the first one. And now the next one I'm going to want to grab, I'll put here, I want to grab the bottom left corner. So let's take this one. Oh. Now see what I did is I went to orbit around, but I wasn't actually selected on the frame. I was in somewhere in the background, and that kind of lost my sight line. So I'm going to go over to zoom extents. Zoom extents shows everything that is in your model. So now if I'm hovering over it and I orbit around, it won't send me in a crazy direction. But if I'm out here and I orbit, see how far it takes you to that point. So you want to be mindful too of where you're orbiting. Oh, I just did it there. Okay, so let's get back to it. I'll select this. I'm going to hit M for move, get in the bottom corner. Set it on that line. Next one, I'm going to want to grab the top left. I'm going to place here. So let's say I take this one. I'm going to move it from the top left corner and drop it into place. Then I'm going to do this bottom left here. Okay. Now I have those. I want to go a foot away from them either way. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct axis, type 12 inches, hit enter. Inches, hit enter. And I just realized that I have a even amount of photographs, which would then cause it to be off center because I'll have a odd amount of vertical rows. I'll have 5. So I'm just going to leave 2 of the pieces off to the side still, just for the sake of this video. The only difference I would really do is I would take the center. Let me place this and I'll explain it. See, sometimes they kind of get hard to see. So the easiest thing to do for me is just to scroll in a little tighter and then get an accurate drop off. Okay, so see what I'm saying? I have 4 left, so there would be 1 here, and then I would be left with 2 off to a side, or I could potentially put 1 in on the left, 1 in on the right. So I think I'll go ahead and do that, but if I wanted to do the double hangs, 5 rows of those vertically, I would have started with the center line of this wall and then put the center left to right on the piece. This midpoint I would line up with that, but in this instance I'm gonna skip that for now, and I'm gonna kind of change the grid a little bit. So I'll put this, drop this in on this intersection, drop the next one in. And sometimes, sometimes layouts change, so it's always good to know how to move things in these cases. Okay. So see what I mean? I would have this row and it would be off center on the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that center line that I deleted. So see, sometimes it is helpful to keep those on. But I'm just going to type in that 59 inches. I'm going to go out another foot from this side. And you want to make sure you grab off the back of the frame and not the front edge. Otherwise you'll be out from the wall and your artwork will appear to float out from the wall. Okay, so I'm on that back line. I'm going to go out 12 inches from there. And now what I'm going to do is put the center of the right side of this frame on that intersection line and the left side on that line. I hope I don't make anybody too seasick moving these, scrolling in and out, but it's the only way to really do it. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on the left side. And move this one to the right. Okay, so that's not too bad of a layout there. Next I have all these guidelines. A real helpful tool is to edit, delete guides, and now I can take a look at it. So one way to view it is I go to these standard views, I go to the top down view, and I go over to this little figure, position the camera, and I'll drop this into place, and then that allows you to look at the installation. That one's still highlighted, so I'm going to click off into space and unhighlight that. And that's it. That's how you start to look at grid layouts. All right.